Sherry Hayes, MomDelights.com, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about large family life. And some people have been talking to me wondering what it's like when your older children start growing up and growing out, the different situations that you face there. And so I'd like to talk to you about some basic principles that I've learned. The first one, I think, is that, we have 15 children, which means that we just haven't raised one family, but we're like raising maybe 3 or 4 families in succession. And so that will I'll clarify what that means. So what happens is your first children, they grow up and they start moving out, and then it's kind of like you feel like there's going to be a void, or you've trained those older children. They're a great help to you. They're just part of the family. Like, older kids can help make pancakes in the morning. They have chores to do. They kind of help entertain the little kids. And when they start getting really busy with school, outside activities, work, that kind of thing, you kind of feel at a loss. You kind of it's like you have to regroup and make a new plan. But I'm going to tell you that new plan can be wonderful. It's wonderful for the younger children in your house, because all of a sudden, when the older kids are busy and they're not involved anymore, then the younger kids get a chance to take on that responsibility and to become, if you've had a problematic child, see, a lot of problems that you deal with with young children, with older children, is that they don't have a real sense of place or worth or meaning, or why am I here, what am I doing here? And sometimes some of the attitudes that we deal with, and it's because they don't have enough responsibility. They don't feel as though they're needed or they're important, or what they do is important. And so you'll have a lot of childish behavior that you're dealing with, and there's something about someone, when a young person is dependent upon, that they rise to the occasion. They rise to the occasion and they learn how they can take on that responsibility. I've seen that happen so many times with our children. As older kids have grown up and out, then the next children will all of a sudden, they'll become more responsible. They will see things from a different light. Like when the younger kids talk back, or they're pushed back or whatever, they'll go, whoa, there's a reason why you shouldn't do that. And so it just kind of reinforces in their minds the different ways they should be acting themselves. So it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. Now, sometimes I've seen, and this is something that large family moms are often accused of being lazy and making their children do the work for them. And I understand where that comes from. And you can see in some situations where that is probably the case. And if that's what's happening in your life, you need to step back and think, I've got to do this by the golden rule. I've got to treat my children the way I would want to be treated. And if you're taking advantage of your kids and their help for you, then you need to change that behavior. You need to become more engaged. On the other hand, you should never feel guilty that you're having your kids help you cook some meals, do some cleaning around the house, especially if you're homeschooling and your kids are there all day. They need to be engaged. They need to feel as though they're part of the family, and everybody's pulling together and everybody's making things happen. I think a lot of people raise children that, when they go out into the world, they're really shocked, when they have their first job, and they don't get to sit down whenever they want to. They don't need to say, well, I'm not cleaning that's dirty, and stuff like that. So if you have your kids do things in your house for nothing, they do it out of love. They do it because they're part of the family. They don't have to get paid extra. There's some things that we pay our kids extra for, like, or we pay them for, like, this last summer we needed to stain the fence and some different things, and so we paid our older girls by the hour, and they went out and they did that. And so they gave them some pocket money, but they had to earn it. You see, it wasn't like an allowance that they got every week. Everybody, people have different views on this, but we just haven't had the money to pay everybody, an allowance to just, here's your money, for free. They have to earn it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having kids that every once in a while will change a diaper. I personally liked to change diapers with my kids. I considered it bonding time, but there are times when I was just too busy. And so every once in a while, if I wasn't there, if they were sitting or something, then they would change a diaper, okay? But they didn't change every diaper. They weren't diaper slaves or anything. But at the same time, I didn't feel guilty about that. And you shouldn't feel guilty about that. They're part of a family. They should be helping out. And adult children or children that have a job, why not contribute to the family? Why not take some of that pay and pay into the family? Hey, they're living there, and they should be part of the bill paying. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that helps them to feel as though they're contributing, they're doing something good with their money too. Hopefully, we've been able to raise our children with the idea that, to serve others, that we're not here just for our own selves. And, as they get out and go into the world, my older kids are just so generous. They're such generous people. And they're hard workers. Everybody depends on them no matter what job they're at. They outstrip the other people because they're such hard workers. And I believe that a lot of that is because they understand the work ethic from a very young age. Well, actually, my husband and I on both sides, we come from people that really work hard. I mean, if you're going to be at a job, you might as well put your full effort in. I mean, you're going to be there for hours, or projects or whatever you're doing. And but I think that it's important to know that you're not going to hurt. I mean, that's biblical. The Bible doesn't say we are supposed to make everything easy and give, this idea where we want it easier for our kids than we had it and stuff like that. There are some hard things in life that actually build more character than if you try to keep them from, breaking a nail or whatever, But anyway, so I hope this sets you free. I hope this helps you to look at your children leaving as a blessing on all sides. That is definitely, you'll get to know your younger kids better than if all your older kids were there, because here's another thing, as your children age and as they become their own adults, they become very opinionated, and they, and that's okay. That's their life, but it gives you less of a chance to concentrate on your younger children because they are there, and especially if they have strong personalities and they're very expressive. So them leaving is really good for them, and it's really good for your family too, because you have children coming up and you need to nurture them and get to know them. And this last wave that we have at home, we have 2 adult children, but they're there, and these 2 are more quiet, and so we all work. It's a perfect fit. But for the younger children, 17 on down, I'm just really enjoying just spending time with them and getting to know them and going through all the same things I did with all the other kids. And because I'm not worried about all of the drama that comes with kids trying to figure their lives out, and so I'm actually able to be a better mother to these children, because there's a dynamic there I don't think that smaller families realize. You have to be the same kind of an attentive parent to the younger kids that you were to the older kids. So you need to have undivided attention sometimes. So I hope that helps you. I hope that you can look at it from a different perspective, that, yeah, you're kind of losing your older kids. They're having their own lives. But at the same time, you're going to gain more with your younger children. Okay? So that's the large family talk today, and you just be blessed in Jesus' name. Bye-bye.